So this video was only supposed to take maybe 2 weeks at most. It's been 4 weeks since I actually started assembling this engine. Let me tell you, it's been a hassle. Now, of course, all the clips in this video, they don't show the full process because I was spending time with my dad, and I was also learning about the engine at the same time that I really forgot pull out the phone, record this clip, because I was also having a fun time when doing it. Now, there's points in this video that probably wouldn't make sense, and so I'm going to go through a whole rundown of what exactly happened. But that being said, let's get started with the video. What is going on, everybody? This right here is that 2.6 liter short block that I picked up last weekend, and we were able to successfully transport it from North Carolina back home where we set it on this table. And my dad and I are going to be assembling this engine today. And one thing we noticed during our pre-check is that there's a crack in this block. Don't know if you can see it very well. Let me grab a light. So there looks to be either scarring or a crack right there. And so what we did was we took Gorilla Tape and we patched up all of the water ports and anywhere that the coolant could go. And then we filled all of the coolant ports with water. That way we can test to see if there's water coming from that crack. And by the looks of it, we'll check back in a little bit, but it's dry as my text. So hopefully everything is good and it's just a little bit of scarring, but we'll get back once that's done. So it's been about an hour and we took a trip to Advanced Auto Parts to get a clutch pilot bearing, a clutch alignment tool, and a few canisters of brake cleaner. And now we're going to check to make sure that all the cylinders are dry. This one is, these two are, and mainly this one was the one we were looking at because of the crack. And if we take a light, that thing is still nice and dry. So it looks like we're good to build onto this thing. Alrighty, so we got this thing partially built and it's actually starting to look like an engine. What we have left now is water pump pulley, and then we're going to install it onto the truck alternator. We also got to put the head on. And we also have to put on the motor mounts and the flywheel, the clutch, and the clutch pilot bearing that goes inside of there. But we got all of that, and we have everything that we need. Now, one snag that we did run into is that when we were tightening down the timing chain guides, one of the bolts had snapped because of me. And that required me to kind of go down, and Dad's trying to think of an idea and I'm trying to think of an idea. And then I went over to this block that was originally in the truck and I grabbed one of the bolts off of it and I was like, this is about how long it is. And so we went to Lowe's, we grabbed a 1/2 inch spacer and then a 1/4 spacer, and we put them together with a washer and we put it in and it was a perfect fit, and hopefully that stays put. But other than that, this build has gone seamless. It's about 5 o'clock and I have things to do tonight, and so does my dad. So I'm going to put all these tools away, and then tomorrow, hopefully, we finish building it and we might be able to test it. Alrighty, so by this point, this was the first day of assembling it. And it went really well, I must admit. It went phenomenally except for that snag with the bolt. So what I'm talking about is that there's a bolt that was about this long. And I can't remember which size it was, but it had a spacer built into the bolt from the manufacturer, and it snapped while putting it in there. Either the torque was wrong, or who knows, maybe the bolt was giving out already. So we went to Lowe's. We found a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch spacer. We put it together, and then what my dad did is he grabbed washers that fit around the spacer but that don't go above that outer diameter, the OD. And then he took a drill bit and he just went down on it to widen out the hole. That way it would fit on the bolt. Then we put it on there, put on the timing chain guide, and it worked out after that. You'll see later in the video, we did test it eventually, and the timing chain, I guess, is holding up fine because the engine's still running. So yeah, that was day one, and my thoughts were I was going to have this thing running on that Sunday. So this was 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. It's been a while because I hadn't started school yet. I started school last week, and so it was rocky after that. Plus, since I was starting school, I didn't have as much time as I did before, so that kind of played into it. But I'm gonna show you day 2 now.
Alrighty, so today's Sunday, and we got the engine pulled out here into the light. And what we have left now is the motor mounts. Have to take up the oil filter. Have to put on the valve cover, or the head cover, whichever one you want to call it. Have to attach, let's see here. Got the water pump. I have to attach the fan shroud somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure, or mainly I can't remember where it is attached. So let's start building. So just for reference, this is what we're taking off, these motor mounts. I already have one set up on this table. And we're taking that out. We're also taking out this oil pressure switch sensor. It just, applies voltage when it hits a certain pressure, knowing that, the engine has good pressure. And then we can take the hoses off, so there's this like hard line that runs around the block. You need to attach it to that one. And then we should be ready to put on some more stuff. Alrighty, so because of how hot it is outside today, I can't record this whole process, but I managed to get the whole coolant assembly line hooked up, all of the motor mounts. I taped up the oil filter, put on the flywheel, the flywheel cover, but I need to tighten this down. This is a 2-person job, so waiting for my dad to be available. That way we can do that together. And I need to know how to put the silicone on the cover right here. And hopefully my dad will show me how to do that, because he's amazing. And we should be able to put this thing in today. Alrighty, so it's been a few hours and we have the engine fully assembled to what we think it is. And we're about to pull it up on the screen and load it into the truck over there.
Alrighty, so that was day 2, you could say. That was Sunday. So then, I wish I'd taken video of this, and I wish I'd taken pictures, but I didn't because I was learning and I was struggling and I was screaming and everything in between. So I didn't take any video, but we did manage to get the truck engine in. It took a little bit of effort, but we got it in, got the spline connected and everything that was needed. And yeah, then my dad left. He was done for the day. So then I connected all the cables, make sure all the vacuum lines were right. And then after that, thing sat in the driveway for a week because I'd start school. And then this last weekend, which is when this video was recorded, magic happened. And so let me show you that.
Alrighty, so it is Saturday, August 30th, maybe. And today is hopefully the day that this thing cranks. We have everything connected except for the exhaust manifold. I need to get some spark plugs, connect the distributor, and I also need to connect the fan. And then I need to connect the gas tank. You see where it's just hanging there? There's bolts right there. And there's also a return line sitting right there that I need to connect back into it. So, yeah, that's how it's going. But yeah, hopefully this thing's running today. If anybody's wondering, I've been working on this all day and weed eating. And it's currently like 7 something. So we're gonna eat in the bed of the truck because it's a perfect seat. Yep.
So it's about like 9 o'clock at night. And I was hoping to get this thing at least cranked. See if the pistons are moving up and down. And we don't have the trickle charger. This is gonna have to wait till tomorrow.
Alrighty, I got all the oil filter, and I have all of the oil and coolant that I would need. Put you there. It's currently well, let's see what time it is. Let's see here, it is currently 8:44, so I got here just in time before they closed. Wonderful.
Alrighty, so the next clips are us trying to start the engine and trying to make it run. It'd been a process. So first what had happened is that it would turn over. Luckily, we didn't need a turbocharger. We were mistaken. There was something going on. It wasn't grounded properly enough, essentially, and we discovered that the terminal to the battery was actually so corroded that it wasn't creating enough current for anything to run. So we got that fixed. Then it would turn over, which was incredible because I hadn't actually heard or seen this, engine turn over, which it was pretty cool. Then I got really excited. We were turning it over, and the engine would start. It would sputter a little bit when it ran on brake cleaner, and so we poured a bunch of brake cleaner into the carburetor, and it would run until it ran out of brake cleaner. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? And we had 2 gallons in the gas tank because it had been empty, and I filled it up with 2 gallons. So I made 2 runs to the gas station, filled it up with 6 gallons in total. I'm not sure exactly how big the tank is. I think it's a 20-gallon tank, just like in my own car. But we filled it up, and it was still doing the same thing. It wasn't running on gas at all. So first, we disconnected the actual mechanical pump fuel line, and we blew through it, get all the gunk out of it, and I actually sprayed my dad with gunk. So here's the fun thing is that as you get older, I guess your lungs get worse because he wasn't able to push anything. But me, I just went in there and I went, and gunk just flew straight across that into his face and everything. It was pretty funny at that moment. Then we hooked up the fuel to the gas tank, and we tried it then, and it still wouldn't start. It would only run on brake cleaner, which isn't ideal if you want to drive it. I mean, unless you got like a personal assistant that's just spraying brake cleaner into it the whole time. That's not how that works. So then we tried to siphon the gas through the mechanical pump gas line by, and you could blow pressure into it, but you can also just suck it out. And I sucked it out, and I took a face full of gasoline and ingested at least maybe 3-4 full sips of it, and I can still taste it in my mouth. And that was like way earlier today. And you can still taste it. So then what I did was we hooked it back up, and it wasn't working. So then I'm like, maybe it's a problem with the fuel pump. And it's a mechanical fuel pump. It's not electric. It's controlled by the crank can. I can't remember the name right now. But it wasn't a problem with that. And so then we ran gasoline through a hose through the fuel pump, and then we also noticed that fuel was like spewing everywhere, and that's not how diaphragms works. And then it's like, oh my goodness, I'm about to spend like $80 on a new fuel pump. Trust me, I'm trying to stay cheap on this thing. I've already spent $1,800 on this truck alone, so then I don't want to spend any more than I have to. Luckily, we hooked up all the lines, and we filled it up with gas, and the gas went into the bowl of the carburetor. That's where it collects the gas. So then we cranked it over, and it ran for 30 seconds, and that's it. Then it cut out. But I was really happy. I was like, what? That's insane that it was running on its own gas for once. Well, it technically wasn't running on its own gas, but it was running on gas and not brake cleaner. And we're talking about like 87 octane. We're not talking, ethanol based or anything. Well, it is ethanol based, but it's not 100% ethanol based. Or at least, you get what I'm saying. We're not running on straight ethanol. We're running it on the cheapest gas available. Now, this is where it got interesting, is that we took off the mechanical line, so the fuel going into the mechanical pump, we pulled it out, and we ran a vacuum tester on it, and it was getting compression out, which is a good thing. Then we did it on the return line. It was like kind of iffy and everything, but that's normal. I mean, yeah, that's just how that works. It's a return line, it only sends fuel out, not in. So then we're contemplating, we put it back on, and we're just like, well, let's try it one more time. We try it, and boom, this thing turns on, and I'm just going to show you the clips from now on. Ready? Yep. Contact. Oh my goodness!
So we got the Dodge to run finally. This thing has been incredible. The exhaust sits right there, but this thing sounds amazing. It's running phenomenally, and even indoors, it doesn't sound too bad in here. This is amazing. What is it?
I don't know. You got anything to say?
First time driving manual. I'm very excited.
Why are you talking to me? Talk to the camera.
Okay.
Will it crank?
I hope. Let's see. It cranked.
Push the clutch in.
It's not good.
Does that clutch feel like it's doing anything?
Nope.
The end of our driving lesson.
Did you hear what I said?
What are you doing?
I said that fears it.
Crap, what are we getting ready to do? Damn, I thought hold on, let me get my seatbelt on,
We
everybody.
live on a hill.
Apparently.
Safety first. This thing came with seatbelts. I'm impressed it did.
I thought we were just moving back like 100 feet or something.
Don't always get what you wish for.
We may be getting ready to go for a ride, guys.
Contact.
Hey, you gotta push that clutch in, man.
You serious? Why'd you have it in?
Push the clutch. There's first lesson. Press the clutch in.
Dad.
Then you can let off the brake. Yep.
Contact. Maybe. Yeah. Contact. Alrighty. That's reverse.
You don't need any gas. Just ease off the clutch.
Brakes work.
We made it!